So now we have an example Google map on our contact page. But of course, it's not located where we want it to be located. So let's deal with that and just generally get our house in order with this JavaScript that we've copied in. So switching back to my editor, I'm going to jump down to the JavaScript. I'm not going to need this API key again, so I'm going to get rid of that. It just needs to be up here. And now looking over my code, let's see if I can perhaps make this a little more readable. A little indentation. Okay, so let's break this down. Google Maps provides their own event listening functionality. I don't know if we really need that, but we'll leave it for now. Let's look at what else is happening here. So basically what's going on here is when the load event on the window fires, we call this initialize function, which is here. And then we have this object which contains several options, and then we create the map. So that's all reasonably straightforward, but let's get this into the structure that we've been using previously. So first, let's move this up here. We'll change this to the standard add event listener. And we'll be listening for the DOM content loaded event instead of just the general load. And then instead of calling this initialize, I'm going to name it something that's a little more descriptive of what we're actually doing. So we'll call it draw map, like this. So let's save this and make sure we haven't broken anything. Switching back to the browser, I'll reload. Yep, everything still works, so that's good. Now switching back, looking over these options, I can see that this one definitely needs to change. The center option for this map is the center point. And right now it's somewhere in Australia, I think. And we want the center to be where our shop is actually located. I don't happen to know the latitude and longitude of the shop off the top of my head. So we're going to need to figure out what this is because that's what Google Maps needs in order to set its center point. And so what we need to do is convert an address into latitude and longitude. That's a process which I happen to know is called geocoding. So what we need is a geocoder. Google provides a geocoder as part of their Google Maps API, and we could use that, but it would just add some extra code that we don't need. For our simple case where we only have one map and we only really need this one point, let's use a geocoding service instead. So I'm going to switch back to my browser. So I'm going to copy the address. And I've loaded up a geocoding service here. This one is at gpsvisualizer.com. And here it is. I just need to add my address. I could choose whether to use the Google or Yahoo API. Doesn't really matter in this case. I'll just geocode my address. And here we go. Here's my latitude and longitude. And indeed, it loaded up a little map with my stuff there. So let me just grab the latitude and longitude here and copy them. Switching back to my editor, I can paste them in just like that. Now if I save this, switch back to the browser, and here I am on my map tab. So let me reload this. And there we go. We are now centered over the city of Los Angeles where my shop is located. Now, of course, there's more options that we're going to need to change to make this really work, but at least we're now in the right geographical ballpark and our code is in order, so we can continue on and make some more changes.